Hello, my name is Bertie Tomlin, and I'm covering pages 16 to 22 in the NSCA program design book, which is the second half of the Athlete's Needs Analysis chapter. I wanted to begin by talking about how important exercise is to our daily lives. A few key benefits is that it keeps you healthy and helps you prevent health problems, which in turn also increases a person's lifespan. It creates opportunities to socialize for people who don't tend to get out as much. It increases a person's energy level. It makes you happier. And it even helps you sleep better. Now, everyone is different, so whenever you make a workout program, you have to adapt it according to each person's specific needs. A few obvious reasons people are different include genetics, likes and dislikes, and time available, because some people feel like they're too busy to include time to work out in. Needs analysis is important for this reason, since no one is the same. And an example of a needs analysis is it is a history evaluation of past workouts, injuries, etc., a physical examination of your current fitness level, and a health questionnaire, including medical problems, that will help you determine your current physical condition and help you decide what exercises will best help you achieve your goals. Additionally, a needs analysis aids you in creating clearly defined goals that will help you make the most progress from your training. It is important that the fitness instructor understands how to examine both the client's current training program and biomechanical analysis, so he or she can address the weaknesses. By improving a person's deficits, you're also improving their posture, range of motion, and increasing the risk of injury, and improving their overall well-being. Risk of injury can be calculated by connecting a player's sport with common injuries in that sport. There's a table 1.3 on pages 14 and 15 that have common injuries by sport and position. An example of this is baseball players. They are more likely to be prone to elbow sprains than football players because they are repeatedly throwing in that sport. Fitness instructors need to take this into account to see if an athlete's physical components put them at even greater risk than they already are. An example of this would be if a baseball player has weak shoulder muscles, then he is at greater risk of rotator cuff tendonitis and even elbow sprains from overcompensating than at any other sport. Adjustments will also need to be made for athletes recovering from an injury as well, such as changing the number of exercises he can perform if the full range of motion is not yet returned. The client will need to have a program that works around the trauma to provide proper healing and get them back into competition quicker. Input from all teams, such as fitness professional, team physician, and athletic trainer, and whoever else is in the program, is needed when examining an athlete's injury profile. Some teams also will have better equipment and more knowledge to help diagnose it. There are two primary forms of assessing a client's status, which are training history and testing. History will provide past references, while testing assesses their current fitness status. And specificity is the best indicator of how well a program is working. If an athlete is a cross trainer or a cross-country runner, then he's going to be needing to do more endurance rather than strength training. You also need to find the right balance between time spent conditioning and working out and time spent practicing. Too much conditioning will put them at greater risk of injury, and too much practice may cause burnout. You'll need to avoid putting too much stress on the body. Rest is important, and it allows the body to heal. You also need to tailor the program to attain the desired adaptations for the athlete's specific sport. In one study done by Sporus, 80 athletes were tested to observe the effects of athletic or agility training on athletic power performance. All subjects were healthy and around the age of 19. The study was a randomized controlled trial that had a control group of 40 and an experiment group of also 40. The members of the experimental group were to participate in a 10-week training program that required them to work out 3 days a week, while the control group was asked to maintain regular physical activity but not participate in strenuous activity. At the end of the 10 weeks, there was no significant difference found between the initial or final measurements for the control group, but there was, however, a significant difference between the initial and final results of the experiment group, which saw quite a bit of an increase. This goes back to the rule of specificity, which if you want a desired effect, you need to train that way. A couple key terms that are really important in this chapter is overload and overtraining syndrome. Overload is when the body is stressed past the level it is used to. This creates the neurological, structural, and hormonal improvements in the body, which is what you look for when you're working out. And overtraining syndrome is when the body is stressed too hard for too long without proper rest. The athlete will begin to see drops in their performance if this occurs. It is important to have variation in the training program, such as endurance, strength, power, and hypertrophy. You need to work out all these components, not just one, to stay balanced. You can perform the VO2 max, 1 rep max, and vertical jump to find which components are weaker and work on those. Workout programs are the foundation of an athlete's ability, so creating a needs analysis is crucial to seeing results. As a conclusion, some key things you need to remember is exercise is essential for a healthy lifestyle. Needs analysis helps determine a training program that best fits an athlete's wants and needs. Injury risk should factor into the training regimen. You should thoroughly assess the individual through history tests and other tests. You need to tailor the program to the desired adaptations. Remember that overload is good for an athlete, but if you overtrain them, then they'll start to see detrimental effects. And you need to include variation to avoid plateau. That's everything I have. I hope you enjoyed.